This video is about how to pick spool and mushroom pins, which are a type of security pin found in some locks that makes manipulation more difficult. Security pins are designed to prevent lockpicking, resist decoding, impressioning, key bumping, and other compromise techniques. If you are not familiar with lockpicking, check out my How to Pick a Lock Basics video to learn more, and then come back to this video. Spool and mushroom pins are modified versions of key or driver pins in a pin tumbler lock. A spool pin has a portion around the center of the pin removed, making it resemble a spool or barbell shape. A mushroom pin is similar, but is tapered and resembles a mushroom shape. When opening a lock with a key, these pins will act like standard pins, but when lockpicking, they can make you think the pin has been set, but really it hasn't cleared the shear line. Both of these pins act in a similar way and can cause what is called a false set. This is when it appears like a pin has been set, but the pin is caught in the shear line, preventing rotation of the plug. With a spool pin, it may be more obvious as the plug can rotate a few degrees when it is in a false set. This is how you can identify a spool pin. When you try to lift a pin up out of a false set, you will get some counter rotation as the bottom lip of the spool or mushroom pin clears the shear line. Counter rotation is when the plug turns in the opposite direction you are applying tension. When a mushroom pin is in this orientation, it will act like a spool pin. When it is positioned the other way with the shorter bit at the top, it may give a shallower false set and less counter rotation. As the pin moves up, it may start to feel like a standard pin. With practice, single pin picking is an effective way to open locks with spool or mushroom pins. I set up a ruler to help better visualize false sets and counter rotation. Apply light tension and find the first pin that binds. You can start from the last pin and go forward to find the binding pin. You will know you're using too much tension if multiple pins are binding. If you don't find any bound pins, apply a little bit more tension and repeat. When a pin is unbound, you should hear a click and a slight rotation of the plug. You will likely need to set all of the standard pins first, as the spool and mushroom pins have a smaller diameter at the shear line. When you get to a spool or mushroom pin, you will get a false set where there is more rotation of the plug, but the lock won't open. When you have a false set, you can probe each key pin until you get some counter rotation. Lift the pin with the counter rotation and try to set the pin. To set the spool or mushroom pin, release a bit of tension and push the pin up until it sets. Using too heavy of a picking force can cause the pin to overset. Sometimes the driver pins that were set will fall down from the counter rotation and will need to be set again. It can be helpful to remember the binding order of the pins, so if some pins become unset, you can avoid picking them out of order. You are trying to find the right sequence of binding pins until the lock opens. If there are multiple spool or mushroom pins, repeat this process until the lock opens. Another method is to get a false set with raking, impact, or vibration, and then use single pin picking to set the pin causing the false set. From there, you can find the next pin that binds and so on. You can sometimes get lucky with easier methods like raking, rocking, zipping, or bumping, but they are less likely to work or will take longer on locks with security pins. Remember to only open locks you own or have permission to open. Thank you for watching. Leave any comments, feedback, or suggestions in the comments section. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter to be updated on any new videos.